Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about 7 things, I'm going to be going over episode 6 of Global Showdown. Now, before I continue, please check out the links in the description below. I highly recommend the surveys, especially the redemption one. Now, onto the episode. We are at day 15 because we skipped day 14 and we open with Team Mexico talking about their second elimination challenge win and how they're at the bottom of the leaderboard but are determined to fight until the end. There's a scroll that tells the survivalists they will migrate to Zone 2 the next day. It will be an 11-mile hike to an area with a lake that is surrounded by tropical marshlands and towering raffia palm forest. There is not a lot of game to hunt, and they have to be careful when fishing. The survivalists need to pack up and then head off to the X on the map the next day. Gabby and Matt go fishing and hunting respectively to try to get some extra food to prepare for their migration. Gabby manages to catch some fish, and Frank also manages to catch a fish, giving the team some necessary energy to go on migration the next day. Day 16, the teams begin their move to Zone 2. There may be some foreshadowing on teams that may be in the bottom 2. Australia and USA East talk about finishing strong and either not being below the red line or being close to first. The migration is long and hot, and the survivalists are very tired. They approach the scoreboard, and to everyone's surprise, the scores have been reset to 0, which actually confirms a theory that I had last week, so I'm finally correct about something. Will the points be reset again when they move from Zone 2 to Zone 3? I have no idea, but I'm just happy that I was correct. And this is actually very controversial because a lot of people online are saying it's not fair, but a lot of times in competition series, what happens in a previous quote-unquote week of a challenge doesn't necessarily affect the results the next week. There have been people in competitions that have been doing really well for a few weeks but then go home, or there are some teams that don't do really well in the beginning but then end up winning. So you just never know, but I'm okay with it. And some of the teams are worried while others are relieved. The teams get a scroll that'll lead them to their next camp. They need to make a boma before nightfall. That night, Team Australia and USA East hear hippos near their boma. Day 17, the camps get a scroll. The teams need to build a raft that can carry both team members separately. Phase 1 of their challenge is the teams have 2 days to build said raft. Once they complete the raft, they can move on to Phase 2. The groups head to an area with raffia palms to use to help build the raft. They need to make it in a specific way that includes using spikes to connect the raffia ribs. Rene mentions it's like Jurassic Park in the forest, and now I'm really hoping Team Brazil makes it to the finale because I love a good Jurassic Park reference. Team Mexico are going back and forth on what is the best shape to make the raft. Fernanda wants a kayak-like raft with a pointed end, and Pablo wants a rectangle that can carry his weight. USA East are working well and decide to make a larger raft. Rene and Marina are confident in the raft since Rene is a kayaker and Marina is an engineer. Frank and Teal are dividing and conquering, but Frank mentions Teal is a little snippy. Teal says her morale is in the dumps due to the point loss. Teal gets annoyed when Frank starts doing the job that she was assigned. She wants communication, and Frank is doing stuff without telling her. USA East finish the raft and they get 100 points. They test it out and both can float on it. Matt teaches Gabby the push-pull method to help it move so that they are ready for the challenge, whatever it may be. Teal wants to finish making the pegs and to do the rest of the building tomorrow, while Frank wants to just get it done. They bicker some more about the work that needs to be done. There is more talk about how well USA South did in Zone 1, but it's now very tumultuous. Frank and Teal eventually work it out and are fine. They both mentioned just needing some water, so it looks like they had a little chat and everything worked out, so that's good. So, don't send hate to any of the survivalists and support your favorites. Day 18, Team Mexico continue work on their raft and are getting the design situated. They complete the raft and get 100 points. Brazil also completes theirs and gets 100 points, and they work on their paddles. Team USA South are continuing their work and decide not to test their raft. Dun dun dun, is this foreshadowing? They put fins on the back of the raft to help with stability. They complete the raft and get 100 points. Team Australia also finishes their raft, earn the 100 points, and they decide to go and test their raft. When Team Australia goes to test their raft, Team USA East is nearby, and they decide to stop practicing their push-pull method so Australia can't potentially take the strategy, although Australia knows they were practicing something with a paddle because they talk about overhearing them. And so, that's interesting. USA East goes on to say hello to Teal, and she leaps up to keep them away from her team's raft and mentions her team is not testing their raft. And then USA East talk about how they might have made a mistake by not testing the raft, and everything's working out great for the majority of the teams, which is good. Day 19, it is challenge day on the raft. Team Mexico want redemption from past challenges. For the challenge, they need to do a relay race with the rafts. One member will pilot the raft to get 2 lily pads, then return to shore, where the other teammate will pilot the raft to collect 2 weaver nests with eggs. When the raft is 15 feet away from shore, the other partner can help with the first, who's returning after collecting the lily pads. And after the weaver's nest are collected, the teams must beach their raft to complete the challenge. Since all the teams got 100 points, they are given the choice of a cast net or a kudu hide. For the teams that get 200 points, they get fruit. First place in the challenge gets 150 points, second get 100, third 70, fourth 50, and fifth place will get 0 points. The challenge begins. Alexa, Gabby, Marina, Teal, and Fernanda are the first to collect the lily pads. Fernanda is the first to get her lily pads, followed by Teal, then Marina, and Alexa grabs 2 lily pads, but one flies away before she can get it into her bag. Kai notices this and tries to warn her. Alexa notices only 1 lily pad is in her bag, so she has to go back to get another. Gabby gets the lily pads and head back to shore. Mexico is the first team to swap partners. Pablo heads for the weaver's nest. USA East, Brazil, and USA South also switch partners. And because of Team USA South's maneuverability with their raft, Frank kind of comes in front of Matt's raft and they bump into each other. And unfortunately, Frank isn't able to maneuver his raft away from Matt. So Matt's just kind of paddling along and Frank is along for the ride. So that was a bit of an interesting moment in the challenge. And Pablo is the first to grab 2 birds' nests, while Australia is the last to switch partners. And after some tension and a lot of yelling, Team Mexico is the first to complete the challenge, and they earned the 150 points and redeeming themselves from past challenges. And it looks like they will be safe from elimination this week, but there's still another challenge before the bottom 2 are decided, so you never know. And then after a lot of tension between USA East, USA South, and Brazil battling for second place is revealed to be USA East, who earns 100 points. Brazil gets third, and USA South gets fourth, while Australia unfortunately gets last. The teams check out the scoreboard. We hear the team's thoughts about being above or below the red line. Alexa is upset about being in last and feels like it's her fault because of the lily pad situation. And we end the episode on Team Australia's thoughts about what's happening, and Alexa is hoping that her team doesn't go home because of her. Dun dun dun. Well, I think that was a really interesting episode. Team Mexico have redeemed themselves, it seems. USA East is maintaining that kind of second place area, so good for them. And as of right now, USA South and Australia are below the red line. And the final scoreboard at the end of the episode is in first place, Team Mexico with 250 points. Second is USA East with 200 points. Third, Brazil with 170 points. Fourth, USA South with 150 points. And fifth is Australia with 100 points. And so, number of days after day 19, Matt has 324 days, Kai has 174, Gabby 129, Frank 89, Alexa and Teal 75, Marina and Rene 70, Fernanda 61, and Pablo 40. Now, the next episode is Lock In or Storm Out, a primitive weapons challenge where survivalists build and use atlatls lead to a shocking elimination matchup. Multiple teams score huge protein wins, but Mexico's food struggles may lead medics to intervene. A raging storm causes a shelter to collapse. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, comment nice things, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.